And gentlemen, everybody is doing well. Make sure I'm live in every spot. I think we're going live in like 4 or 5 places. So super pumped. Today we're talking about what short-term rental tools you actually need. I'm going to go through 8 of them, and some are going to be expert level. Some you may need half. I use 8 of them. That was just the 8 that I remembered off the top of my head. Let me So, yeah, let me make sure everything comes in here. Yeah, okay. Chat is up. YouTube, Facebook, welcome. Okay, so let's. This is going to be a very short one. It is the 8 tips every short-term rental Airbnb Verbo host needs to automate majority of their business. I will be taking questions at the end. If you have any, this is going to be a 5-minute video max. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Number one, property management software. That is, at this point, it's a no brainer. If you don't have one, definitely go out and get one. I'll name a few that we have. We used to use Guesty for host. We upgraded to Guesty Pro now. Owner Res is another big one in the industry. HostAway. There's a couple more that are. I've heard good things. Personally, never use them. So we use Guesty Pro. I really think you could. We managed probably 5 before we got a property management software. So I would probably say once you kind of get more than 2 properties, then get a property management software to set up some automations, get a direct booking site linked up, making sure the calendars don't get double booked if you're listing on multiple platforms. I would definitely do Airbnb, Verbo. We are going to be expanding to some more very soon, which is awesome. A unified inbox is another very important one. It's going to save you and your team's time to make sure you have one spot where everything is going to flow into. If you have an Airbnb inbox, a Verbo inbox, Expedia, Booking, things will get lost. It's just a matter of time. So the key here is just set up these systems to where it's infinitely scalable. So for number 1, property management software. Number 2, dynamic pricing. This is another super important one. I've listed these from most important to least important. Number 8 is actually one of my favorites. So stay tuned. Dynamic pricing. We use Price Labs. Wheelhouse and Beyond Pricing are the next 2 popular ones. We're just barely scratching the surface on Price Labs. In there, we use the minimum night stay feature. We use the dynamic pricing. So if a weekend is super popular, for example, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, those weekends get booked out very quick. People are traveling. Our prices automatically get adjusted based on our rule sets. We've got at this point, probably 10 different rules in Price Labs. So the more popular weekends get a premium, and then the less popular weekends actually get a discount because we want to get booked. We essentially show the software, tell the software what we want to happen at the properties, and then according to our rules, they go out and perform it. It's bar none. I think without smart pricing, you're leaving about 30 to 40% of revenue on the table. So definitely worth the investment. Number 3, smart locks. We use Schlage Encode. We started with the Schlage Connect with a Wi-Fi adapter, and it just failed over and over again. So we ended up upgrading to the Schlage Encode, which bypasses the Wi-Fi adapter, which is a little box that the Schlage Connect would talk to, and then that box would talk to the Wi-Fi. We just got rid of all that. And then it has been much easier to do with the Schlage Encode. Number 4, security, Ring camera. That is our favorite. For us, from a manager perspective, we're able to have all of our clients under one account, and then we can just manage it from the dashboard. We don't have to log into 18 different accounts and then have to forget password, and that's just a nightmare. So Ring, that is why that is my favorite. Number 5 is, this is more kind of back end systems to make sure we have everything under control. Number 5, Asana. ASANA. Super, super powerful. It's what we use for project management. So literally everything that we need to do with the property, and even offsite stuff, we put it into Asana. We assign a team member and assign a date. And then we have the search feature is really, really good in Asana. So we can go back and find things that we need. If something happens, let's say 6 months ago, and we're curious what happened. Number 6 is Slack. So we use Slack for all team communication. You may have heard this, but Slack is just, it's awesome. You can tag different teams. You can create different threads, different channels. It's much, much better than like a text message thread or even emails. It's essentially team group communication without a group chat of, having things get lost. Number 7, this is, super important. Cloud storage. We use Google Drive. So that has all of our rental contracts. That has all of literally everything that we would need to do is stored and backed up in Google Drive. If anything needs to happen and we save all the receipts. Once I mentioned the rental contracts, everything is stored in Google Drive. Offsite, me and Riley have a IT background. I know too much when it comes to security and backups and all this. I don't want to deal with it. I would just rather pay Google a little bit of money to handle all of that for us. And number 8, one of my favorite things is Zapier. So Zapier it's an automation software. Just kind of give you a screenshot here. It's an automation software that you can automate a lot of what you do. Like something that I just implemented, which took me a lot of time, was whenever a new reservation gets booked, we create an Asana task that has that particular turnover. So like, let's say somebody checks in January 12th, for example, when they book, an Asana task gets automatically created using our template of steps that our team members need to go and do to make sure everything is, nothing falls through the cracks. And then from there, we also create a Google Drive folder that has all their rental contracts. Let's say, we found, let's say, a damaged coffee table, for example. We'll store all the photos, invoices, receipts, everything tied to that reservation. So in the end, let's say month end, we're sending all the money to our investors, for example, and they're like, okay, what happened on the 10th? I see a receipt here. We can quickly search the reservation ID or the guest name or even the checkout day, and then we can find exactly what happened in the Google Drive and in Asana. So that's literally how we run everything from start to finish. That is just scratching the surface. I could do a complete separate training on all 8 of those tools. But just wanted to get that out there. I get that question a lot. Let's see. Had a couple of questions here. I'm going to share them real quick. Where do you find the dynamic pricing metric for what is acceptable? Where do you find the dynamic pricing metric for what is acceptable? Can you clarify a little more? I'm not sure who this is. Somebody on Facebook. I think what you mean is like occupancy, maybe like the exact price. Is like what to price it at. So there's a slew of different ways that you can do this. Check-in comps. You can do that in Price Labs. You can do that in AirDNA. You can do that in 1,000 different spots. Airbnb, like Verbo, you can create these comp sets in a lot of different softwares. But let's see, in regards to rate per night. Okay, yeah. So rate per night. So a combination of Price Labs, AirDNA. Those are the 2 tools that we have found. And you essentially create the comp set. Once again, I could do a whole nother training on dynamic pricing. Create the comp set, look at what other people are priced at and what they're booking at. And then from there, you can price accordingly. So if this one comp, for example, gets booked at $400 a night and your property is a better quality, then you would price it like $450, for example. So it's really all based on the comp sets, which you decide. A computer cannot do that at this point, at least. You still need some human intervention to go in and look at the comps, pick out what amenities are here, how the photos look, what the reviews are like. The whole just going through the listing like we did last week. If you haven't checked that video out, go back to scroll down a little bit here and watch that video. So, yeah, regards to rate per night. Another tool you can do, AirDNA. So AirDNA, it has like an average occupancy and average daily rate. It's not the most accurate, but that'll at least get you in the ballpark. Typically with AirDNA, the occupancy is really low and the ADR is really high. But once you kind of go into the comps, if you pay for the AirDNA Pro, if you scroll to the bottom, all the comps down there, same thing there. You can literally go through each individual calendar if you're wanting to manually do it, or if you want to upgrade to like a Price Labs, that will consolidate a lot of the data for you. Hopefully that answered your question. What are your thoughts on Halo quickset locks? So we actually use quickset for our owner's closet, which is where our cleaners go in and they store all of our cleaning supplies and anything that we don't want the guests to have access to. We use quickset. Halo, I'm not certain on what exactly the Halo means. Let's see. Halo quick. Let's see if I can bring it up real quick. I'm assuming it's. Yeah, never personally used the Quickset. I've only used the Schlage ones. But our owner's locks, cleaner's locks inside they don't have the smart capability. You just hard code them in. They have been super reliable. The bad thing about it is we can't remotely like add or remove codes with those. But just doing a quick Google, I would assume Quickset is pretty good from these. I've never personally used it. Another reason why we went with Schlage Encode is with Guesty Pro, they integrate directly using remote lock. So whenever a new reservation is booked, that code, the guest gets an automated code that is unique to them, embeds in our messaging, and then whenever they check out, that code is removed from Schlage automatically, so there's no security risk. So at checkout, 11 a.m., boom, that code is removed. So at 11:05, they can't like get back in the property. Let's see. This is a good one. Get this one on the. What is the best way to deal with a neighbor who keeps complaining every time a new guest arrives? We have tried the killing them with kindness and communicated as well as we can, but he just doesn't like us having an Airbnb next to his home. So this is a tough one. I would recommend just, knocking on his door, having a conversation with him. If you have his phone number, great, go for it. Just, get to the bottom of like what you do for these neighbors. So like, I get it. Like it is what it is. Like if you're not breaking any rules or laws, like if there's a HOA, make sure, obviously make sure you've checked that before listing. But if you're not breaking any rules or laws, they can't really do much. The next thing is just talk to them. Like talk to them like a human. I mean, these people are human. They have kids probably. Make sure the goal here is to never upset your neighbor. It happens, like it's happened with us. You just kind of have to do damage control. Upgrade your guest vetting. There's third-party tools to, do background checks. Like you could transfer it to a midterm rental if it's really causing them that much headache. If you have like over and over and over complaints, then go back to the drawing board with how you're vetting your guest. Are you allowing people with negative reviews? Airbnb has that functionality to where they have to request if another host said I would not recommend them. I would say turn that functionality on immediately. But in the end, talk to them. I mean, they're human. Like they get it. It's an inherent risk with any rental, long-term, midterm, short-term. Short term just seems to get the brunt of it recently. You just have more turnover. One bad apple can ruin it for everybody. Let's see. No HOA. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. So other than that, I wanted to just go through those tips really, really quickly. I can do an entire different training. If you have something you want to dive a little bit deeper into of those 8 tools, I'll do a specific training. Just leave it in the comments here. Once again, Caleb from My Tripify. Let me make sure there's no more questions, and we'll wrap this thing up. Yep. So that is it question wise. Thank you everybody who has watched. We'll